Should be recording. Confirm go.
That looks good to me.
Cool.
Check. Yeah.
All right, so welcome to the Pi Day Game Jam 2024. We're at the Niagara Falls Innovation Hub. I'm Shandor. I'm joined by Joy Digital. I'm from Axiometric Games, and we're going to be doing a brief presentation about what we're looking for in the games in the Game Jam. So we're thanking our sponsors and the members of the Hub team who helped put this together. Our sponsors include the Niagara Falls Innovation Hub, Team Hydra, the Remax Success Realty Brokerage, Valen Entertainment on the camera, and Bion Niagara and On Off Computers. As we're going to be enjoying some pies from Moody's Bakery here in Niagara Falls and some pizza from RT Pizza. So let's talk about pi. So as you know, pi is 3.1415, etc. And on Pi Day, it's well known that there are many recitations of pi. We're not going to be doing that this morning, but there is the non-repeating set of digits that represent pi. It's said that you would be hard pressed to find an algorithm that could generate numbers more random than the numbers of pi. Of course, we know pi as a delicious food. This is the world's most accurate pie chart. According to this meme, pie I have not eaten and pie I've eaten. And in our case, we have 8 pies to eat today. We have an apple, a cherry, 3 pecans, and 3 pumpkin pies. You can see visually represented here. We're here doing our event in concert with the International Day of Mathematics. This is their beautiful poster that they produced this year, which touches upon a few mathematical concepts, which are actually very gamifiable, I think. And each of these provide a little bit of inspiration, specifically for me, for this one. Here we see some graph theory, we see some cryptography type games, Codemaster game. We see some compound rotational symmetry groups here, and we'll talk a little bit more about that. So let these examples on the International Day of Mathematics poster be some inspiration for ideas that you'll be generating today. Sure. So axiometric games is games that are geometric and mathematical in their nature. You can find Boxio on my itch page, and Vectrus and Isoki are games I'm producing. Here's a little icosahedron Rubik's Cube thing I whipped up a few years ago. And sort of just illustrating where my headspace is and why I'm passionate about Pi Day. So the Pi Day Game Jam has some platforms for you to participate on. Please join us on our itch page, itch.io/jam/pi-jam. And through there, you can find the links to the Discord page and other information. The Pi Day Game Jam is a project to make a math-inspired game in a weekend. And the theme is Circulorum, which is Latin for of circles. Of circles. Circulorum.
Incredible.
Circulorum. I may name my game that today. I may. Circulorum. So allow the concept of circles to be an abstract and literal concept. You're not in any way obliged to follow any of the examples that we're setting down in this presentation. Let your creativity inspire you. The theme is circles because, of course, it's Pi Day, and pi is very circular in its mathematics. Let's talk about the guidelines. And these are only guidelines. We're looking to inspire and not to judge or criticize. So these are some of the the pointers in which are friendly and encouraging judges at the end of the competition, which is really a friendly competition, um, will be reviewing based on these criteria. So let's take a quick look at them. Does your game utilize pi or circles in a game mechanic? Is your game playable, as in something happens on screen? Is it a game, as in there are scores, lives, points, that sort of thing? Does it have any story or narrative premise? Does it mention pi? Does it mention pi? Does it have graphics, graphical assets, and does it have sound effects, music? Does it have a start screen or menu? And does it have tutorials and instructions? So if you meet all of these criteria, then you'll be maximizing your score in the game jam. So let's briefly talk about pi itself conceptually. This is a curve representing the Greek letter pi. Pi itself is a ratio. It's the ratio of 3.14 diameters to the circumference. We see represented here in 3.14 pizza crusts across one pizza crust across 3.14 pizzas. So very easy to understand what the ratio is. This is the circumference to the diameter. And studied deeply by Archimedes using the method of inscribing polygons to the perimeters of circles, and therefore coming up with the general location of pi being somewhere between 223/71 and 22/7, and that was some thousands of years ago. Here's a representation. You can find this link to this presentation on our H page. So you can find the link to these representations here. And this shows your angles, your unit circle, and a variety of other points moving forward. So the circularum of games, the ludology of circles, we see it happen all the way through history, of course, target boards. There's the unit circle, starting here at 0, 0, and going counterclockwise upwards. We see pi and a fraction representing a coordinate on the unit circle. Now you can imagine that similar to a clock. And you can also imagine that the clock, each hour in the clock represents a sort of more conventional chart. And here we can see the polar coordinates unwrapped. We have the polar coordinates projecting outward, but then you can take from the center point, split it, cut it, unwrap it, and now we have a grid. And these are, you see where the dot configurations are the same. Here's some more games that, so this is what we're thinking about. We're taking square, conventional games, and we're pushing them into an environment where they're in a new space. So somebody said to themselves, hey, I can make a chess on a circle. And so they did it this way, and then someone else did it that way, this way and that way. This one's an interesting innovation on the concept itself. You have the pawns going forward and coming to this way, which reminds me of the compound symmetry project of twodiscs.org, which I invite you to take a look at. What we see here is that between two circles, we can find compound symmetry. These are inspired by what are called twisty puzzles. So here's some gizmo gears, and this is a puzzle game where you rotate the puzzles and they fit together. Here's sort of a digital version of it, again, linkable through the presentation. And I've done some work similar to this, as you saw with the icosahedron. Similarly, in the circularum is, of course, gears, gear ratios, gears. These are very gamifiable components. They're also extremely important to engineering and a variety of other applications. And so the ratio between the number of gears affects the amount of speed and torque and a variety of other points. We see here some examples of that.
Next.
So here's something that's maybe seems a little obscure, but I think we use often in programming, and that's modular arithmetic. We use it through the modulo function, the mod function, in order to determine that something is even or odd. You wrap it around this circle in the computer, and if it comes up with a remainder not zero, then you know that it's odd. Right. No, you know that it's even. If it's zero, then it's even, depending on which one you're modulating. So we see here in a modular arithmetic, um, something I'm going to be exploring in the jam this weekend. Here's some visualizations outputted through modular arithmetic, where they put the dots of the numbers around the perimeter, and then do some skipping algorithms where they skip a line and skip a line and skip a line and then wrap it around, and produces all this variety of visualizations. Similarly, with what fascinates me is very simple rules that produce very complex results. And I find that this one is particularly elegant and beautiful. These are Lissajous curves. And I'm actually going to click the link. I'm going to click the link. Hopefully it doesn't mess anything up. Oh, let's click the link because I want to see this. Find this to be very fascinating. So if I click it, and will it work? I'm not exactly sure how to gamify any of these elements or all of these elements, but I find that the visualization itself has been a source of inspiration for me. And here we see a very simple set of rules creating a rather complex set of imagery, and that's a general theme in computational mathematics and computer math. I just love this. I find it to be fascinating. It almost seems like a language. Also in the circularum, of course, are other shapes, spheres, toroidals. Here's a brief analysis of the torus. Circle within a circle within a circle. Here's an asteroid, not an asteroid, an asteroid. No E in asteroid. And here we have it here. And this is a circle within a circle. And this mathematics relates to a variety of other aspects. I don't know. I think that's just really interesting, mesmerizing, even. Right, reminding me, of course, of Archimedes' trammel. In Archimedes' trammel here, we see an interesting optical illusion taking place, where you think that there's a circle turning, uh, but what's taking place is these dots are actually just going up and down, up and down. But because they are iterated through the thing, it comes out looking like this. And I think that by the end of the weekend, I'll be able to visualize that on my software that I'm going to be doing. So that's pretty cool. This is the trammel of Archimedes. Again, an aspect of engineering that I find to be inspiring and interesting. There we go. So that summarizes the points upon which I wanted to touch. And I just wanted to say that we're in a very lucky, fortunate, golden, or even platinum era, where the math class of my childhood is obsolete. And in the future, in the present and the future, uh, we're now able to become more mathematically literate because of the visualizations and the demonstrations that are capable thanks to computers. You can really get your hands on the math in a way that you never could decades prior. And so not only is that useful in um, purely mathematical pursuits, but it's also useful in all aspects of science, technology, engineering, and math, and that includes game development. which is a fusion of technology and art and story. And so this weekend here at the Niagara Falls Innovation Hub, uh, today we're having pies, we're making games, and the games will be due on Sunday. So join us at itch.io/jam/piejam. Join the jam. Send us your games, WebGL or other games. If you have a non-video game idea, please share it with us. Communicate with us. Tell us your ideas. Join us on Discord. If you have any questions, feedback, or additional ideas to share with the community, do so on the discussion page on itch.io or on our Discord page. And that essentially summarizes all of the ideas I wanted to bring forward for the Pi Day Game Jam. If there are any questions, please contact us. I'm Shandor from Axiometric Games, and thank you very much for participating in the Pi Day Game Jam.